Good morning, children. Welcome back to the social session. Children, we started a new unit called as population, and we tried to understand about how this population our data is collected and how it is recorded by the census of India. And we also tried to understand about the Commissioner Census of India, who collects this information and records them. Okay. And it's a systematic collection of data, and it will be recorded and it is interpreted in the policy making. We further tried to understand about the age structure, and we divided the entire age structures into three categories, that is children who are below 15 years of age, and second category is the working age, the most important age group, and the third one is the aged group. Aged group means people who are above 59 years of age are considered as aged. They doesn't participate in the production activity. That means in the development, in the contribution to the GDP may not be minimum, may not be the criteria for them, and they depend upon these people, these working population, for all their needs. Those who have been in a salaried employment or in an organized sector may get retirement after 59. However, a vast majority of agricultural laborers and domestic workers, construction workers and other usually continue their work as long as it is physically possible for them. And it is them, this group also depends on their families for their support in their old age, and especially on the working population they depend upon for their needs to be satisfied. And it is also possible that their medical expenses are higher and that of the other age groups. And even if you look at the children also, they are taken care by their families, and most of their needs are met by the working population, like food, clothing and shelter, and educational and medical facilities, medical care, and all other opportunities for growth were provided by the families. That is nothing but by the working population. And this is the working population. They are usually reproductive biologically, and most people in this age group desire a decent income and even security for their work. So children and aged people are often dependent upon this working population only for the growth. So today we shall learn about the sex ratio, children. We shall learn about the sex ratio. What is the definition of this sex ratio? How do we define a sex ratio? The sex ratio is nothing but the number of females per every 1000 males in the population is called as a sex ratio. I repeat once again, children. The number of females per every 1000 males in the population is called as sex ratio. That means per every 1000 males, how many females are present in the population, that is called as a sex ratio. This is denoted in percentages generally. So this information is very important, and which is a social indicator. It is also a social indicator to measure the extent of equality between the males and females. Because in our community, in most of the Indian community, women is inferior and men dominated families you find, and they prefer to have the boy child than the girl child. There is a female infanticide is also observed in most of the places in the country. So you have to calculate this for the families that you surveyed. And now examine these figures for the country as a whole. In 1951, per 1000 males, there are 946 females. And by coming to 2011, per 1000 males, there are 940 females. So presently, the sex ratio of India is 940 females. According to 2011 census, per 1000 males, how many females we have? 940 females we have. And this situation was very bad in the years like 1971 and in 1991. The number of females went until 929 even. Per every 1000 males, only 929 females were present. In 1991, the situation got better because of the government's initiative in encouraging, creating an awareness among the people that male and female are equal, and they also have banned the gender identification in most of the scanning centers. As a result of that, and there are equal opportunities for men and women also today in the society. So this drastic change in the society made people to understand that men and women are equal. We notice that the number of females in India has consistently been lower than that of males, but in developed countries you find most of the countries sex ratio will be the positive sex ratio. Number of females will be more than the males. It is a cause of concern for the entire country, which hides that there is a discrimination in our society. There is a male and female discrimination. There is a difference between them. That indicator is shown with the number of females. Women and girls particularly face unequal opportunities in education and even in the growth and development. They are discriminated against in the most basic needs of their nutrition, child care and health also. And they get less paid even. These things are compared to the males also. This often happens with the family. Yes, there is a discrimination, is not always obvious, is not surfaced, but unknowingly also we show lot of difference between men and women, between the male and female. Medical research shows that similar circumstances, girl child survive more better, much better than the boys. That means girls have more immunity, they survive more better than the boys. Hence, if there was no discrimination, automatically the number of girls should be more than the number of boys. The census according to 2011 shows that in the age group of 0 to 6, the sex ratio was 990. 919. Now you see, from 0 to 6 years of age, 0 to 6 years of age, the sex ratio is 990. Okay, that means number of females born per every 1000 males is 919. But as the number of girls who survive is lower, is much lower than the boys. This happens due to the discrimination in their care and nutrition and female infanticide. What is female infanticide, children? Killing the girl child in the fetus itself is called as a female infanticide. This is a big problem in India. Okay, that's the reason you find only 919 children per every 1000 males. According to 2011 census. According to 2011, 940 is the number of females present per every 1000 males. But the situation may become more worse in the coming years because the birth rate, you see, 919 females are only born. And you may think, sir, they are infants, they may die because of malnutrition or because of various medical problems. But according to the medical research also, females survive much better than the boys, much better than the males. So according to them, the number of females should be more than the males. But that is not the situation here. Here the situation is very reverse. It's completely reverse. So this shows that there is a hidden discrimination in the Indian society. The other evidences that have from the comparative figures of the table given in the textbook is that if you look at some societies and regions, they have provided equality for women and provided equal opportunities for them. There the sex ratio is different. So there the sex ratio is very positive. Regions that have unequal gender relation that favor for the discrimination against the males and females towards the unequal sex ratio, and this can happen even though they have high incomes also. For example, if you look at the places like Punjab where the income level is very high, there the sex ratio is only 880. Per every 1000 males you have only 880 females. The sex ratio is very less there. And whereas in Haryana the sex ratio is 870, and in Telangana, we live in Telangana, and the Telangana has very good sex ratio. It is in Telangana, it is in India. In India it is 950, and in Telangana we have 988 according to 2011 census. These are according to 2011 census, the sex ratio in Telangana is 988. And you know, in Kerala it is 1050, it's a positive, and in USA it is 1040 in Kerala, and it is 1050 in USA. So those are considered as a positive sex ratio where the number of females are more than the males. That shows that the equal opportunities for women and men in employment and even in the growth. So it is noted that within India also there are certain regions where equal status is given for the women. Kerala has a very positive sex ratio, with some other regions with extremely biased against women in places like Haryana and in Punjab and even in Rajasthan. And a distressing aspect of the gender bias in India that shows a little sign of going away is the preference for boys. They mostly prefer boys over the girls. And one of the worst manifestations of this pro-male bias is the relatively higher mortality rates of girls. Most of the girls get killed. The mortality rate means the death rate is very high among the girls. That is the presumption. Relatively, they presume that favoring the male child. So this is mainly because of the quite violence and neglect of the health issues for the female, and illness comparison with the attention of the family members to the woman needs, and they receive, especially the male child receives more attention than the female child. There has been a case of female selective abortion also. If it is a female in the fetus, they also abort the pregnancy, and due to the preference of a male child, parents may decide to abort the female child before the birth. Many families consider female child as a burden. That is also a reason why the female child is aborted. And studies have shown that priority for male child in health continues for adults, raising the mortality rate of even adult women above those of the adult men. Women's education has been a powerful force in regarding to the discrimination faced by the women against the women, and this is also definitive evidence that women's literacy and schooling reduces the child mortality. If you educate the woman, she further educates the entire family, and that also reduces the mortality rate. And working against the selective neglect of the health of the girls is also another issue. To understand such situation, we shall discuss on the right and whether this would impact the sex ratio of the country under the literacy rate. So even if you observe the literacy rate of the country, the women literacy, that is girls literacy rate and boys literacy rate, this women literacy rate is far lower than the boys literacy rate. So that also we shall understand in the next class under the literacy rate. Thank you, children.